Introducing today's guest on Being You, we have the very amazing, lovely young Jule joining us today. Now, Jule has got a wealth of experience living all the way in Europe, and I'm very excited for Jule to tell us a bit more about her challenge and what it is that she thinks you could do to overcome a challenge similar to hers. So, Jule, thank you so much for coming. Did you want to start by telling us a little bit about you? So, how old are you and where are you from?
Thanks for having me. I'm Jule. I'm from Germany. I'm 18 years old and I'm currently in school. School is one of the most challenging things right now. There's not a lot going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm from a smaller village in Germany. There's not much going on.
And why is school such a big challenge for you at the moment?
I think because my parents or parents in general have some ideas, or they want you to be good at school, to bring home some good grades. And there's also a battle starting, I think, between the students. I think we are now old enough that everyone wants to be the best. And I think that's a challenge to accept this fight.
Yeah, definitely. So there's two parts to that challenge. So first one is when people have expectations of you. And the second is kind of, would you say maybe fitting in or learning how to deal with other people being difficult to deal with?
I think it's also the expectations from the peers, and you need to keep up with them because otherwise you will be considered different or not that good or cool.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with other people's expectations, whether they're your parents or your peers?
I don't care about them. I just focus on myself because I think I am my number one priority. That just leads to the fact that I don't care about other people's opinions.
That's amazing. And that's a very hard decision to come to. How can you be so strong, Jule, and just say, this is me? And you're kind of like putting yourself in an invisible bubble of protection by doing so. How are you so strong to do that? What makes you want to do that?
I think it all started with the realization that in the end, all I have left with is myself, and it will always be myself. So why should I invest in other when other people can live my life? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And what made you think like that? Like, that's a very unique way of thinking, because I work with a lot of different people who are probably a little bit less empowered than you in that sense. How did you get to that conclusion?
I have experienced a loss of friends, and I think that made me this way. It made me focusing on myself a lot more, because I felt alone for a long time, and then such realization happened.
Okay. So do you want to go in a little bit more about the loss of your friends? Is that part of the challenge you want to share with everyone today?
Yes, it's part of that. So to give you a little bit of a background story, I have spent some months in another country and then came back home, and all the people changed. It was in that time it was really bad for me because I was still young and I didn't know how to handle it. But I came across some incredible people in the internet, which taught me a lot of mindsets and techniques how to think. And one of the mindsets that I came across is that everything in your life is borrowed. So all your friends, all your stuff, obviously, all your loved ones are borrowed. One day you have to give them away or they will leave. And I think if you have that in the back of your mind, everything is a lot more easier, and you can handle a loss or a potential loss very good with it. Yeah.
I think that's amazing, because all you had to do was shift your thinking, and then you could get a different outcome. Like you just had to see the situation differently because the situation never changed, but how you saw the situation made a difference. Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
And it teaches us how aware we need to be of what we're thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. And it's really funny. I love the quote that you were saying. I've got a similar quote whenever things get a bit challenging. When people are mean to you, you decide what that means to you.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one. And what I like about your quote about things being borrowed is it's quite interesting because technically we never own anything in life. Like I have a fiance, I don't own him. I have a job, I don't own that, right? These things are kind of transient and fluid. And I think the only thing we have is us, like as an individual.
Yeah. And it makes one so much more grateful for having those persons, those items around you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always going to have ups and downs with those others, like because they're external to us. But I think it ultimately comes down to how we manage me, like us as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Okay. So what would you say to someone who has been in your situation where their friends have kind of turned on them and people are being a bit mean to them? What would you say to them to do based on your experience?
As I've said, always be your number one priority. You should never give up, even if you are dependent or you need someone in your life. Those people will come, and obviously those people will leave, but everything will work out. And I think also those hard times, that those are very important for you to grow, and you shouldn't see those times in your life as punishment, for example. You should change your perspective on them and see them as a time for growth, and always be true to yourself. And another tip would be to truly invest in yourself, improve your way of thinking, shift your mindsets, get to know techniques on how to overcome challenges. And yeah, I think those are some tips.
Amazing, because that's so similar to what I would say. You've absolutely nailed it. I think that's incredible because that really is what it comes down to: managing us, managing the way that we think, the way that we see things.
Yeah, true.
Now, do you have any resources? Oh, sorry.
If I have any resources?
Yeah.
My number one would be you, obviously. But other people that I find very impressive are Anthony Robbins. And I don't know, there's an app in Germany where you have summaries of books, and there are a lot of books about
Blinkist.
self-improvement. Oh yeah, do you know this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not only German.
Yeah, it's international.
So cool. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, go get this app. It's perfect. I learned so much from it, but I don't know all the authors, so I can't name everyone.
Yeah, Blinkist, for everyone who's tuning in, is an app that helps to summarize books. So a book that might be a 6-hour audiobook, for example, will be condensed down to 10 minutes, highlighting just the key points of that book.
And they are about self-improvement, about technology, about overcoming problems, and it's so helpful. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you. I'm sure you have given a piece of advice to the one person who was looking for something in that moment, and it would have helped change their life. Thank you so much, Jule.
Thanks for having me.